The Seattle Seahawks had to make do yesterday without Geno Smith. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We made it to Friday yet again. We have made it through yet another day of Seattle Seahawks training camp. And yesterday was a tough one. Yesterday was a tough one because of the Geno Smith news, which is now turned into a thing, a real thing. Not just, oh, he's missing a day of training camp. It's, oh, they are concerned enough to want to take a deeper look at what might be going on in his leg and hip. So I made my video last night about the Geno Smith thing. I already talked about that. And as of me recording this video right here, I don't know anything more than what I said in the video last night. So I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video. As soon as I hear more information, I'll make another video and talk about it. Or if we get information about Geno Smith's injury before this video goes up, I'll push this one back to the afternoon and get a video up in the morning about Geno Smith, because I know what is going on there is probably more important than this stuff at the training camp, right? Like, this training camp stuff is important, but our starting quarterback's health is far more impactful on this team's success in 2024 than somebody like McClendon Curtis having a good day of reps, or even somebody like a Trey Brown having a good day with a couple of interceptions or anything like that. So, as of me recording this video, I don't know anything more about Geno Smith, but by the time you watch this video, maybe by the time this video gets uploaded, we'll know more, and I will make another video as soon as we know more. But for the moment, I live in a universe where I don't know anything beyond what we've been told as of last night. So keep an eye out for more Geno Smith discussion. I'll get out a video as soon as I can after I hear more information. Okay, so Geno Smith was not able to practice yesterday. He did walk around on the field for a little bit, talk with Ryan Grubb, and I mean, he looked okay at least, so it's not a situation where he's in constant rehab for pain or anything like that, so that's good. But with no Geno Smith, you've got Sam Howell and you've got PJ Walker. And one thing that I can say is that if you're looking for a silver lining here, Sam Howell looked better than he has for most of camp, because that's been one of the big focuses so far. There's been a lot of discussion about how Sam Howell really hasn't looked that good, inaccurate, throwing interceptions, stuff like that. So what I can say is that Howell did step it up at least a little bit with Geno Smith out. You've got this article running down some of the details of yesterday's training camp session from Corbin Smith on SI. You've got this from Hawk Blogger. You can go flip through those if you want to. I'm going to be drawing attention to some highlights here, some things that I think are particularly notable. Before I get to that, though, thank you for watching the video. I hope you like it. Please like this video if you haven't already. Helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content, trying to get to 1,800 by the end of the month. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Consider clicking the bell if you want notifications when videos go up. Those are the best ways to support the channel. Okay. So first, let's lead off with a little bit of extra information about Julian Love's extension. So not really training camp stuff, but I do want to spend a minute on this because you guys know that I like to get into the nitty-gritty of an extension. So it looks like the extension is 3 years, $33 million, with $3 million in escalators. So that is probably the incentives that we were told about when the contract was initially signed. So escalators do not count against the cap until such a time as the escalator is hit. So for our purposes, this is a 3-year, $33 million extension. Adjust your scorecards accordingly, because those escalators, I'm just going to say it, they're going to be hard to hit. They're doable, but it's not going to be hard to hit. But it's not going to be easy for Julian Love to earn that extra $3 million. Brady Henderson breaks it down here. Love's base salaries for 25, 26, or 27 would increase by $500,000 if he records 5 or more interceptions the previous season. So if he gets 5 or more interceptions in each of the next 3 seasons with the Seahawks, he will earn an extra $1.5 million. Now, 5 interceptions is hard to get. He didn't do it last year. He had 4 last year. He's never had 5 interceptions in his career. Quandre Diggs, who was very much in his prime, a wizard at protecting deep zones, got 5 interceptions in his best years. So generally speaking, as a safety, 5 interceptions is kind of tough to do. I wouldn't assume that he's going to do it. And if he does do it, I'm going to have zero issue giving him a $500,000 bonus. 5 interceptions? Yeah, totally worth it. So if he gets there, then that's awesome. And if he gets there, that means something. 5 interceptions in the modern NFL is no joke. They've made it so hard to play defense. That's meaningful. So yeah, this is a pretty good setup. The other $1.5 million is tied to Love making the Pro Bowl on the initial ballot. So presumably if he's a alternate and makes the Pro Bowl, it doesn't count. But basically, if he's able to make the Pro Bowl, each of his base salaries for 2025 to 2027 increases by $250,000. So it's almost like a double or nothing situation. So if he makes the Pro Bowl this year, 2024, his base salary goes up by $250,000 each of the next 3 years. If he makes the Pro Bowl in 2025, his 26 and 27 salaries increase by $250,000. And then if he does it in 2026, it adds $250,000 to the last year of that contract salary. So if he makes the Pro Bowl this year, it's worth $750,000 to him. And hopefully that all made sense. But these are not going to be easy incentives to get to. Making the Pro Bowl as a safety, as a member of the Seahawks in the NFC, not going to be super easy. You're in the same conference as a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr., just off the top of my head. And there are going to be other good safeties in the conference as well. Not as many as there used to be, maybe, but you're going to have to deal with Hufanga from San Fran as well. He's a guy who's got a lot of positive attention behind him right now. You might, don't sleep on the guy that the Rams signed, Cameron Curl. I think he's a really good player. He could end up being a Pro Bowl type. And yeah, the odds are stacked against him. So either way, we don't have to think about these escalators yet. But even in the sense that we do have to think about the escalators, it's not going to be that much more money. So that's the Julian Love stuff. Let's get to the stuff we heard from training camp yesterday. So one quote from Trey Brown on Seattle Sports about a Mike Macdonald practice. This stood out to me from Trey Brown. Want to talk about this for a minute. We have a little less leeway, I'll tell you that. He'll make us restart a play 4 times. You don't really care about none of that, so it makes guys lock in. We hold each other accountable right then and there. And the implication is, because he says we have a little less leeway, is this was not the way things were done under Pete Carroll. So if you were wondering how Mike Macdonald is doing things a little bit differently from Pete Carroll, he seems to be a little bit more focused on discipline and a little bit more focused on attention to detail, doing things right. And if you are somebody who believes that the Seahawks have gotten away from clean execution and keeping things sharp mentally and being prepared, which a lot of people do feel that way, and I tend to list myself among them, this will probably make you feel pretty good. All right, Condotta did draw attention to one bit of good injury news from yesterday, because a lot of the injury news was not good. Mike Morris missed a few days ago, came back for a walkthrough, but that didn't necessarily mean he was all better. Well, it turns out he is all better because he was in full pads yesterday. So I guess Morris is totally good to go. Not whatever he had was not that big of a deal. The injuries are pretty much clear. Doesn't mean it can't change, but This is obviously great news for a guy who missed a lot of time last year, basically the whole season. So Mike Morris, whatever he had, he's over it. Now, there was some injury stuff going on outside of Geno Smith as well that wasn't good news. When I said that the other injury stuff we got was not good, it wasn't just Geno. Now, Mike Jackson missed a day. It seems like they think he'll be back today. But Mike Jackson did get nicked up and did sit out. Darrell Taylor sat the day out as well. And George Fant sat out the day. That's probably a veteran day of rest. I don't think he got hurt or anything. Still not practicing, though. Draymond Jones, what is going on here, man? This hamstring has lingered for like a week now, right? I know it's a hamstring, and I know that he's a veteran, and I know these practice reps are not the most important thing in the world, but there was discussion in the offseason about how Draymond Jones was going to be playing a bunch of different positions, and they were going to focus on his versatility to try to get more out of him. You got to figure there's got to be at least some amount of practice that you need to do to prepare for that. So, not loving what I'm seeing there from Draymond not participating here. As for actual on-field highlights, Mike Dugar covers, I would say, the main back and forth of the day, which was between DK Metcalf and Trey Brown. So there was a sequence in this training camp session where DK Metcalf had back-to-back goal line touchdowns on Trey Brown, went up and got both of them. I think both were thrown by Sam Howell, who again, looked a little bit better. If you were wondering how Sam Howell looked without Geno Smith out there, it was decent. Still missed some throws, still had some accuracy issues, but was better. So DK Metcalf continues to have his monstrous, absolutely monstrous training camp. Really excited where this is going. I'd be more excited, though, if I had full confidence that he's going to have his starting quarterback all season, but we'll get to that later. And then Trey Brown gets him back with a pick six of Sam Howell on a throw to DK. So iron sharpens iron, right? Trey Brown going up against DK Metcalf, a guy who has like 6 inches on him and weighs probably 40, 50 pounds more. And he's holding his own. He's getting in there. He's finding a way to make plays, and he gets one back. He doesn't just let DK Metcalf own him all day. He's like, I'm going to make a play here to make up for some of the stuff I already gave up. So this is the stuff about our training camp that is the most exciting, probably. You have iron sharpening iron here. I saw another clip of DK Metcalf against Devin Witherspoon. Witherspoon had great coverage. DK made a great catch in traffic to bring it in anyway, and Witherspoon was not happy about it. He was really unhappy that he gave up that catch. So you can see, these are things where you can clearly see that everybody participating is doing really good and working really hard, and somebody just has to win. And on that play, it was DK. Whereas, you know, sometimes you'll see a battle between two guys that aren't that good, and you can kind of tell. And this is not that case. So good stuff here. We got Corbin Smith here. He shouts out Sam Howell having a pretty good day. Had 3 touchdowns during the red zone period. But one thing that I want to draw attention to from this tweet from Corbin, Laviska Shenault, 75-yard touchdown from PJ Walker. Shenault kind of getting shunted to the side lately, I feel like, by most people, including me. We kind of forget he's here because he was signed, I think, after the draft, and he's never played on this team before, so it's easy to kind of forget that he exists. But Shenault might be part of the plans here. Shenault might actually be somebody that we're looking to be a 6th receiver that also adds some special teams value. So him doing stuff, I heard other good things about him yesterday. It's notable because I haven't heard anything about Eskridge. Personally, I've heard Eskridge's name, but I haven't heard him do anything impressive. So if you're trying to use training camp as a barometer for who's earning playing time, Shenault having a day like this might just outdo whatever this front office and coaching staff continues to see in Eskridge. And finally, one last injury note. Olu Oluwatimi sat out with a tricep injury, should be back tomorrow from Dugar, so very minor thing. I just wanted to mention this because one thing that I want to say here in the more area of concern, I haven't really heard anything good about Oluwatimi so far in training camp. And while I haven't heard that much bad about him, there has been some concern. There's some concern that he's just a little too weak. And if that doesn't improve soon, that might force a Connor Williams move. And that would bum me out because I liked Oluwatimi a lot when we drafted him. All right, that's it for this particular training camp. I know that all eyes are kind of on the Geno Smith stuff right now. Once again, by the time you watch this video, we might already know what's going on. Hopefully it's nothing. Hawk Blogger has already speculated that it's minor based on his impressions of it from training camp. But we won't know for sure until hopefully sometime today. And again, when that moment comes, I'll make a video. Maybe that video even goes up before this one. But yeah, that looms over everything. There was some good stuff today. Howell looked better, like I said, which is at least a little bit encouraging in case we get some not so good news there. The receiver, tight end, receiver, cornerback battles go great. And I've heard that Byron Murphy and Christian Haynes are also kind of doing the iron sharpens iron thing, where they're going at each other, and it's clearly a clash between two players that know what's up. So encouraging stuff, but we need good news about our quarterback right now, or it's going to put a damper on things. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. I'm going to get out of here. Probably another video later today, but if not, then that would be kind of weird because it would imply that we're not going to hear anything about Geno today when we were told we would. So I'll probably see you guys later today. Go Hawks, and let me know what you think.